Ba-da-ba-bap. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Hello and welcome. Bitte nehmen Sie Platz. Please take your seat. We're like 30 seconds early with the webinar start, so nothing's happening yet. You can get used to this Livestorm webinar experience. There is a very useful chat box, I'm guessing here, possibly for you, or maybe here. Let's see. Anyways, you can use it. Say hello. What's the temperature like where you at? Where you at? It's always a good start because this whole webinar thing is also meant to be interactive and not me talking for hours on end. Yes, we'll start like 1 minute past the hour because most of the people are joining in, usually not at the exact point. Yes. There's also a questions box right next to the chat box, wherever you found that, where you can ask your questions. You can put them now already, and we can look at them later. There'll be ample time to check them out. Yes, yes, yes. The greatest of all sunshines. I can relate. I'm also in Hamburg, and looking outside is horrible. Even though yesterday was nice. Ja, hallo nach Stuttgart. Nice to see fellow Southern Germans, but also hello to everybody who's joining in from sunnier and nicer locations. Cool. We'll wait like 20 seconds more before I'll finally tell you who I am, which shouldn't be a mystery since it's in the webinar description already. Cool. Let's switch to this presentation screen that you should see now. airfocus, what's new, what's next? And at the end, we have some bonus trends for you. We asked some product management experts on what they believe 2023 will be like for product management. Why do I get to do this webinar? You might ask. I'm the product marketing manager here at airfocus, and since our CPO today is doing something else, I get to do this webinar. I did marketing before I did product management, and then I was like, I kind of miss marketing a little bit, so I became a product marketing manager again, and now I'm a product marketing manager for a product management software, plus a webinar host. This best possible combination you could think of. But if you would like to remember anything about me, remember cheese. I really love cheese. It's a very good invention. I'm happy the cows and the goats and the sheep make it for us. If you want to find more about my biography, you can always check out LinkedIn. But what I really want to understand is who are you? Not really who are you, but what are you doing? We have a small poll just to get the interactivity started in the beginning. Just about your job role. I want to understand a little bit if there's more senior product managers, more junior product managers, or designers, engineering, other business functions. So Ala, my fairy in the background, will launch the poll now. That should be on your screen, and you can click a button. I'll pick commercial for myself just because. And that may help me in the course of this webinar to explain the things a little bit more to your environment. Yes. Also, expectation settings wise, what we're going to do is to talk about the things that are also promised in the title already. What did we launch in 2022? What is happening in 2023? Some trends and some Q&A. Now, don't wait for the Q&A until the very end. It's always more interesting if you ask questions in between. And since this is also about the future, and the future is very much uncertain, this is where it becomes interesting because your opinion very much matters. And we'll try to make this webinar as interactive as possible. Also, just in case, I tend to talk very fast. Don't be afraid to type something in the chat to tell me to slow down. That would be very nice. Okay, just in case you haven't clicked the poll results yet, we have roughly half of people here are product leaders, and then another 20% are contributors, with me and another person being in the commercial team. But as we know from the past, especially these airfocus webinars will be consumed later on for years to come in recordings. So whatever you will ask today, and no pressure, people will learn from it. So that's good. It'll take me talking is like 25 minutes max. Depending on the questions, we have another 20 minutes or so to go. It's my daughter's second birthday today, for which I scheduled a webinar, for which I feel a little bit bad. So the earlier we finish, the better. Yeah, but roughly content is 25 minutes, and the 25 minutes includes this intro section. So should be quite fast and unterhaltsam, as we say in German. Okay, let's talk about the first section, which is the big launches of 2022. The people who have been an airfocus customer for a little bit longer probably saw them in the product already. Now, I want to start not actually with a product launch or feature launch, but with a content launch, just to give a little bit of a foundation of what I want to talk about. And it is the thought that airfocus puts into product management. We very much believe we're a product management company for product managers, or we're building a product for product managers as product managers. So the topic is also very dear to our heart. It's part of our mission to help people build better products. So we really also want to contribute to the community and not just sell our software. I mean, the whole thing came from the idea of prioritizing better when Malte founded it. So we also believe it's important that we have a well-founded understanding of what we believe good product management is. We generally think it has three criteria or three main aspects. The first one is product strategy that is expressed in clear roadmaps. It's also a star in the illustration because it's like your guiding point where you're going to. When you want to do good product management, you need to have a good understanding of how product strategy works, not with also saying that your product strategy should probably also be good. The second part is that whatever you're doing should be rooted in customer centricity, and not only in listening to your customers and what they say, but also transforming this into insights that help you to develop a better product. And then at the core of this is an empowered product team that moves fast. Autonomous teams that are able to make decisions and that work the way they want to work, but are still part of a bigger organization. Airfocus especially is aimed at obviously single contributors, but also teams that have different ways of working, because how you do product management and development for a mobile app varies from a very database or a database product. So as a foundation, last year, we basically wrote down for ourselves, it's also in our Academy guide, what do we believe are the success criteria of modern product management, and it also is guidance for us when we develop the product. That being said, the first big thing that happened last year was about customer centricity and deep user insights. We launched the portal, Airfocus portal. It is for you to create a branded portal, so means you can put your logo, your own links, your own colors, where you can share your whole or parts of your roadmap, you can share ideas, you can run experiments, all for the sake of gathering feedback on the stuff that you put out there, testing, validating. And just recently, it has come to our attention that one of our customers has built a portal that is even more beautiful than what we envisioned in the first place. It's, how I say this right, Paperfly or Papierfly. It's a branding tool as far as I understand. And this is their public-facing portal. So if you go to paperfly.com, you can probably also find it there. The general idea for them is that they have, as you can see at the top left, initiatives, epics, and experiments. And then for each of these, they have a now, next, later roadmap. Actually, for the experiments, the logic is a little bit different. And as you can see, each of these cards is one experiment. So this would, for example, be an InDesign integration. When you click it, you see a little bit of the proposal in their case. And then you can also decide to leave some feedback when you, for example, include a form on your cards, as they did here. For example, you can see external people can leave feedback. And I think this making public of your ideas and your roadmap and having a low friction way to enter really also was a game changer for Airfocus as a product, because we finally managed to close the feedback loop overall, right? Because where there was prioritization, where there was road mapping, where there was delivery plans, where there was integrations with the delivery tools, the portal really enables you to share all of this externally and gather additional feedback, making this a loop. So it's a pretty cool feature that we're very proud of, and I can only recommend checking out the Paperfly one as an example. Now, our second big launch of last year was something that might sound very boring to you, but it's an essential feature of airfocus as a product management tool, which is the text editor. And while it was fine before, I mean, you could put letters and you could write words. We modernized it, we revamped it, so it now is like you would expect a modern text editor to be. There's a wider array of editing possibilities, as you can already see in the GIF. There's slash commands, there's a hovering toolbar. There is my favorite feature, which is Command and V for pasting links. I still use Evernote, because when I studied, that was like the note-taking tool. And every time I paste the link, it doesn't go with Command and V and makes me kind of angry. I believe Google Docs also still does the Command and K. Anyway, but that's just me. Overall, what I can say, I think the whole editing experience just got a lot better thanks to the new rich text editor, which also played a role in a big thing that we launched at the beginning of the year to foreshadow a little bit what is happening in 2023. Now I'm just in between. When you have questions on, like, for example, why we did something or what might come for these releases in the future, don't forget to use the question box. Sometimes that can be very helpful. Now, the third big and last release of 2022 that I want to talk about is status field, a release that one of our product managers called the bane of his existence, because what initially looked like something that might be not too hard to release had so many pitfalls in beta testing that it did take just a little bit longer than expected, and that's status or status field. The whole idea behind it is that you get, thanks, Sebastian. I also love status, and Ben does too nowadays. It is, on the one hand, is meant to give you clarity on item progress, right? So you can clearly see what's being started, what's in progress, what's done, but also enables you to work with status overall in a more cohesive way. So it's, as in other tools as well, you can define statuses per status category. In airfocus, there's an active state, a draft state, and a done state. And within these, you can have as many status categories, as many statuses as you wish. We actually developed this based on the insight that a lot of people in airfocus were already having custom fields to track status. Now, while this is great and you can use it in almost any cases, it does limit its possibilities a little bit. Now that status is a system field, it's much easier to, for example, track progress on parent items. It's also much easier to integrate it in future workflows, and it will also be much easier for us to, in the future, build automations based on it, because we have a rough way of standardizing this. And as modularity and staying flexible is one of our main differentiators and one of the most important things about airfocus and why people pick us, for us, this balance between making something fixed, as for example, saying, okay, there's 3 fixed status categories, while also staying flexible, as in you can have as many statuses as you want. For us, that it was both fun but also difficult to get right. So we are always very interested in your feedback. I mean, we see some things that you do through product analytics, but the qualitative feedback always very helpful. So this was the third big one, status. There's a blog post we wrote about it that you can read up on for some dirty background. Now, moving on, for 2022, we put a focus on usability. Actually, it wasn't for 2022. It's a general airfocus thing to value usability, because in the end, we're a productivity tool, or we're meant to make you as a product manager more productive. And that will only work if our tool is actually useful to you, not just in its features, but also in how you can use them. So I want to show you a couple of things that we did by going over to airfocus. So this is our demo workspace for those of you who haven't seen airfocus before. On the left, there is a sidebar navigation. And if you are a long-time airfocus customer, this sidebar navigation wasn't there in the past. There was only a top bar navigation. So streamlining this navigation together with the view navigation, as you can see on the top here, was one of the major projects of last year. Because before, the settings and the navigation for workspaces and views and airfocus overall was mixed up and muddled together in a top bar navigation. So having a sidebar navigation, very nice improvement. And we did the same to our a couple of our apps. So what you can do in airfocus to customize it to your needs is that for each workspace, you can decide what kind of apps you want to install. So they're airfocus native apps. And for 3 of those, we did a refresh, that being the Insights app, the Mirror app, and the Forms app. So that they become more useful to you with aligned copy, clearer structure, etc. Same goes for the ability to share. So once you click on the share button here, this whole process is a little bit more straightforward. And as this is one of the super important aspects of road mapping, is to align stakeholders behind your roadmap, it is also very important that it's very easy for you to share this externally, not only as a portal with, with the nice pictures and the feedback possibility, but also the roadmap itself in a filtered view for your specific stakeholder. Let's say you're a CPO or a head of product, and you need to regularly share with the other people on the C level what's happening. Then having a share link with their filters, high-level initiatives, very useful. And then my favorite feature, excuse me, I accidentally locked my screen with my active corner. That is inconvenient. Here we go. One of my favorite features is Command K, global search. You might not know, you will find out when you hover over the search, there is a keyboard shortcut, but Command and K, as you might know it from Spotify, as I recently found out, seems to be established nowadays as the standard for global search and just jumping somewhere. I personally know it from Slack. And now I can just go and put, for example, I don't know, notifications, and I get the notification stuff. By the way, also talking about usability, one of the tricky things to understand here is like what should be at the top. And we did get some feedback, we did some research, and we now feel like it's a good, we have a good logic of what to display at the top versus what's at the bottom. But also feel free to tell us what you think about it. Generally, very useful feature. Now, last thing for 2022 that I want to talk about is integrations. I used to also work in a software company that had fewer integrations, and we always realized, some of our competitors, they just have better integrations. And not only from a marketing perspective, but from a usefulness perspective for the users. So what airfocus does is that we, as well as we do with usability, we try to be always at the forefront with integrations. We do know that with some things, there's still room for improvement. Talking to you, Microsoft Teams integration. But the ones that we have, we believe that they're very excellent. And the one that is the best currently is not even on this on the slide, which is the Jira integration with the hierarchy sync. From what we're hearing with the hardcore Jira users, from what they've seen before, it works well. I'm personally not super duper heavy into Jira, but yeah, I'm happy to hear this from the people who are using it. What we also did is we added a Salesforce integration, and that is also, you would think that a big tool like Salesforce is easy to integrate, but you might also think that, yeah, it's big, it's probably going to be really, really hard to do so properly in a product management use case. And yeah, the second thing was how it went. anyways, it's now there. You have a CRM integration with Salesforce. So especially bigger organizations obviously use Salesforce. You can now include feedback that you get from cases or opportunities directly in your insights workspace in airfocus, especially talking about revenue, for example, that you have in opportunities always comes in handy when you're prioritizing based on business outcomes. Same for Zendesk, one of the biggest customer support tools. Yeah. Oh, Julian, or Julian, please do let us know what is still incomplete, because the Jira integration is the most used in airfocus. So whatever you say can benefit thousands of users. Even though we are aware that like everybody's Jira setup is widely different, as our responsible developer will tell you, leading to this and that pitfall. Yeah. Okay, so that's Zendesk. Third integration is not actually an integration, it's more like a mechanism that we built into airfocus, which is webhooks, which is especially useful when you want to send automatic notifications to Teams or Slack. For example, based on a status change, you get a message in the release channel that, hey, this item was just released. All stakeholders are happy. Good. We also, as I already said, improved the existing integrations, especially Jira and Azure DevOps last year. This is an ongoing effort. Will not stop. Labels-based fields, standard and custom ones. Okay, noted down. Yannick, airfocus, NDT. This might be of interest to you. Who knows? Okay, cool. So this was the run through of 2022. Let's move into 2023. I put what's happening in 2023, but one of the things actually already happened, and we launched it on Product Hunt a couple of weeks ago, which is airfocus AI Assist to unlock the power of AI for product managers and product management. Now you might say, come, go away with your AI. I don't need it, which is probably in some way true. But as I can say from my experience, I also thought I didn't need it, and now I'm using it every day because it's just so damn convenient to just go like, hey, give me a first draft. So there's two main ways this works, and I'm going to show you in airfocus. The first one is that you can use slash commands to get a first idea of something. Now, I'm back in the Voom workspace in airfocus. Voom is a video conferencing tool, basically, but doesn't really matter. We have a now, next, later high-level roadmap here. And one thing on the later, a problem that we want to solve is advanced chat options to improve async work. Now, as you can see, the description for our initiative is pretty empty. So I'm going to go slash command, and then I'm going to go problem statement, and then I'm going to give it an input. Now, this always comes with a prompt that you can use. This is sent to OpenAI. We give it some more context depending what you already have. There might be something else that you can send with it. I'm now just going to paste the title of my item, advanced chat options to improve async work. Let's see what happens. Command enter. And it's going to give me a problem statement. I am a product manager. I mean, I could have given it more context, right? So now it's just assuming I'm a product manager. And now, obviously, this is not my finished problem statement, but it gives me an idea of what could be there. Current chat lacks features that enable asynchronous collaboration. Collaboration is essential to help teams productive and efficient. Yeah, okay. Makes me feel frustrated. Yeah, it actually does. That I can't help teams work together easily. Project I'm working on will focus on developing advanced chat options to improve async. Okay, now this is not super duper deep, so I might go up, try again, give me something else. With like an additional prompt, or I might also use something else. Maybe I'll go like, what does happen if I use a PRD instead? Oh, no, we can discard this. So you go PRD and give it this, and then I get another result. That's usually how I use it, right? I use it to not do this usual Google search that I would do. Instead, I've typed it into AI Assist and just see with different versions, what do I get? The more information you feed it, the better it is also, obviously. I do see though that I tend to go less to ChatGPT or barely AI to do this stuff, and I can do it in airfocus. Now, this is also a longer version, so we'll just insert this here, save. And now what you can do is you can highlight it, give AI Assist, and maybe we are going to find some action items. Create user stories, develop wireframes, design a database, develop an authentic. This doesn't sound too shabby, you know? Obviously, this is way too big to be an actual initiative. I would assume, like, it will probably be broken down, but that's everything that happens in discovery, right? It just is meant to augment what you're working so that one product manager in the future can do the work of two. Simply for the what I would call monkey work thing of it doesn't help you think, right? You still need to do the thinking part of product management, but you do need to do less of the typing, less of the correcting, and less of the beginner's research. And this is only talking about the beginning of the AI journey, right? Now this does the simple things that you can do with generative text AI. In the future, this can actually help you when it starts learning from your data, learns from your past experiences, if you want to enable it, then it can become a real game changer so that you can focus on the uniquely creative element that you have, right? And you have the time to actually do other things, working with people, interacting with people, rather than, for example, writing the same user story for the 20th time. Yes, my screen and letters are too small. I believe you can zoom in, but I can also zoom in for you here. The purpose was not to understand what's happening. I just wanted to see that you can do it in airfocus. If you're interested in the output, I'd also be happy to share it on the chat. Yes, but also thanks for the hint. So zooming out here again. So this is AI Assist. Now this is in a beta, and we've seen both bad and excellent results in our work, as well as for the customers who have enabled it. We're just still very happy that we made it happen in just 3 weeks from the idea to actual implementation. Yeah. Telly, I'm going to answer your question basically in 2 slides, and then you can also tell me if this is important to you. Okay, cool. I promised 25 minutes. We had, I believe, 25. So I think I'm going to take 5 more minutes, and then we should be good with that content. Now, next bigger thing that we plan for this year that is not actually live yet is airfocus docs. I'd be also interested in your guys' opinion. So the general idea is that product managers do work with docs a lot for vision, for like PRDs, for like jotting down thoughts, for a lot of things. You actually like I keep a notepad. As I said, I keep one in Evernote, I keep one in Notion from work, but I'd also love to keep some things in airfocus. Like for example, as in the screen here, in this idea is that you have the strategy doc right in your workspace, and you can also collaborate in that workspace where you're kind of creating the roadmap. And that you can keep the thoughts that you have in your head also where you work, and you don't need to context switch. And you can also collaborate with the team that is in this workspace. Ability to create checklist notes, very important and helpful. When will this be available? Let me ask the AI on ETA. We're still in the discovery phase for docs. So we already published a couple of templates based on the idea. So just Google Docs templates to see like how people are interacting with those. And we didn't actually build proper wireframes yet. We're also still discussing if this should be an app, if this should be like integrated in every workspace just as a functionality. We're actually happy to reach out to you guys and discuss a little bit, those who already like the idea of it. So I can also not tell you yet if contributors will be able to comment, but just from a first thought, it might make sense for some people. So it might make sense to then only charge the people who want that, because contributors are essentially free and unlimited, right? To like for customers with lots of contributors to then, I don't know, charge something for the possibility for contributors to contribute, or to make it like Portal. There's so many options on this. Let's see what the first release will be. Awesome, Matt. Looking forward to this. Then plus more power-ups. Can't wait to boost adoption. Ha! Happy to hear, Rakesh. Now, the second big topic that's happening, and some of you might have heard this before, is OKR, objectives and key results. Based on our research, is the most used goal management and alignment framework. So we did quite some discovery already on this. And we also built these high fidelity item panel mockups already. So they're not technically a mockup anymore. They're like, that's what it could look like, but it's not necessarily what it will look like, just to, you know, set expectations right. But the basic thing is that you're going to be able to set objectives not just as a custom field, but as an actual working structure with an airfocus. You can just model your structure. So we don't want to give you a certain way of doing it, maybe just some best practices. And in the end, it should be easy to combine this with initiatives and opportunities. We've already planned a couple of bigger workshops internally for this month. And we know how important it is to some of you, or not here, but to our customer base. So this is definitely one of the important topics on our roadmap for this year. Talking about our roadmap, you can always check it out on our portal, either when you go into the product, help our roadmap. And that's actually the way that's the easiest for you to go. You can always check out what's happening. So that's OKR. I think it's pretty straightforward. I would expect that for the people who use OKR, they could also use it in airfocus. Then again, it depends also if you have a system already for it in your company, how you would combine it. So there's some open questions, obviously. But as always with product management, we're going to figure it out. Nice. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the usability improvements that we are looking forward to. I'm just going to briefly touch them. So as I mentioned already, modularity is at the core of airfocus, right? It's like a root decision that we made, that airfocus is meant to adapt to how you work and not tell you how to do stuff. And we've already looked at a couple of these things that have been improved in the past year. One thing, especially that we were working on right now, is sub swim lanes. So the ability to have an additional swim lane on your boards, on your timelines, on your tables. Also, again, based on the fields you have. The second one is improving the item panel. Now, item panel might not be straightforward. The item panel is basically the thing here on the right. That's the whole item panel, or when you open it up, also the whole thing. And Priority Poker is one of our apps that's used a lot, that people actually like, collaborative prioritization, but it's also one of the first apps. So we really want to look into how to improve it and make it even more fun to prioritize together. You've heard it here first. Sub-swim lanes, item panel, priority poker, 3 things when it comes to usability that we're going to do. Now, for the last slide about 2023 developments, I'm actually interested in your opinion. Now, I'm very much framing this question by giving you a couple of examples, but just from your gut feeling, what would be the most useful for you? What integrations would help you to work even better with airfocus? Is it CRMs? Is it development tools? Is it analytics? You can just put it in the chat, and I'll look at the questions in the meantime. The ability to save a default sort on table views and ability to change column width, part of the modularity updates. I cannot yet confirm this. I would need to check with the tickets. But we just released improved board views for better viewability of boards, so better viewability of tables, as in saving the default sort and changing the column width. Does sound like something that's reasonable. I will definitely take it with me to the team, and I'm assuming there's insights already. Yeah, HubSpot, Zendesk, Slack. Okay, well, we have Zendesk and Slack, luckily, so maybe just the HubSpot part. And Sebastian, analytics, we use Mixpanel. Yeah. Yeah, with the product analytics thing, we're not yet entirely sure how to best include it, basically. Like, what kind of data would be useful? Where would you need it? How can you like easily integrate it into your decision-making process? Like, yeah, but okay. Cool. Nate's typing. So if somebody else wants to share their opinion on integrations, now is your chance. I'll just quickly check the questions section. Yeah, Sebastian, I'm just going to quickly answer this here. For opportunity solution trees. Yeah, it's definitely some. I've seen this exact screenshot from Teresa Torres' blog post a couple of times in Discovery, so it's definitely something that's out there. Yeah. I've personally not used it intensively, just like on a whiteboard a couple of times, but yeah, it's definitely in the research and in the preparation. Good. And I was also just quickly going to answer this question. Command and K is your go-to place for global search. As somebody has mentioned, like the search for the titles works the best, but as this is also something that we continuously improve, we might also basically guess results in the future. Who knows? Cool. Notion and HubSpot. Yeah, Notion. As you might have noticed, airfocus is a huge fan of Notion itself. We might get some inspiration from them every now and then. We believe they build great software. Um, I'd be interested in telling you like what you're doing with Notion that needs to be integrated. For us, it would definitely be all kinds of docs, feature comps, for example. Yeah, yeah, and improved Zapier integration or Zapier integration. Zapier. We did some improvements recently, and we're continuously upgrading it. But the better the Zapier, the better your integrations also. Does Command K work on the customer-facing portal? I believe not, but let's go back here. No, it doesn't. But it does work in airfocus. Cool. I wait for the last comment to finish typing. Microsoft Dynamics. Yeah. I remember at a previous employer, there was also a lot of companies that used Dynamics. And I remember that integrating with Dynamics is not the easiest task on the planet. There's some difficulties, but it's an interesting, I haven't heard it before, I think, like in an airfocus context. So that might be an interesting one. Yeah, but then Nate, that would be a bug. If portals get unclickable, then that's something we need to fix. Yeah, might be an edge case, but if you're in contact already, that is something to drop for sure. Cool. Now to finish and like to wrap my content up, I just want to quickly take you through 5 trends that we've collected that you also might find in the future on our social accounts, maybe also a little bit more. Let's see. First one is from Leah, or Lea, since she's from Switzerland. Her main trend for 2023 is product managers understanding growth and getting the basics right from sales and marketing. As a product marketing manager, I can only agree. It's very important. I'm also hearing a lot of buzz in the product management community around growth product management. I think this depends a lot on the product you're building or if you're doing internal product management. But I think generally understanding the dynamics of how your product is distributed, used, and adopted is super important. So you're not just solving the problem that people have, but you're also solving the problem of reaching as many people as possible with that solution. Yeah, we recently did the webinar with her. Was an absolutely lovely experience. Second one is from Anthony. He is the director at the Association of Product Professionals. Also recently had a webinar with him about recruitment of product roles. He thinks that in 2023 we're going to see even more content about product management. So it's a very noisy space. I personally have to agree that I think that there's a lot of stuff out there being published, a lot of stuff being said about product management. It's a very hot role. So for experienced, there's a bigger need for experienced product managers to help and mentor the next generation. So to cut through the noise, you have to go back to the experienced people, which I think is an interesting viewpoint. Third one is from Andrea. She's a product writer and speaker, has had various product marketing, product management roles. And she thinks 2023 is going to be all about value. That we ask ourselves, are we building to build or are we truly understanding what value means? And I think that the conversation about value is slowly but surely overpowering this simple product market fit discussion. So how are we delivering value also comprehensively, and how do we measure it? I also personally think it's a very important thing for 2023. Now, our own Malte, as you might have noticed, is a huge fan of AI assist and AI models. So as it's not going to take long and the integration of AI is going to become a commodity, it's easier than ever to include it. It literally, like, it took us a month to build AI Assist in a beta version, and it's already producing relevant results. So taking these advantages and these benefits without having to take big investments is, yeah, it can be a game changer, like being a commodity. Last one is from Ines. She's a product coach working with founders, and she thinks that product coaching is going to be one of the important things in 2023 as an option for growth and development, especially for ambitious product people who understand that organizations change, move, and grow. Product coaches can help you develop on your tactics and techniques. As a recipient of coaching before, I can only wholeheartedly agree. Even if you think it doesn't help you, it will. Cool. Now the obvious question, if you have a trend that you think we missed, it should be in the comments. And while you might type your thing, I will just quickly check. One key for improvement would be generated unique IDs for each entry. And yes, that I've seen before, Will. The unique identifier. Quick look behind the curtains. In our airfocus environment, we've already built this so that every item has a unique ID. When enough people come together, we might release it publicly. But I mean, there's some barriers to like doing the same thing that we do in our own environment publicly. But it is a problem that we also saw that, like, when people want to reference unique IDs of elements, that could be good. Cool. I think I've answered this default question here. Answered live, hopefully. So Ala has one last question that I can answer, which is, how do you get the most out of airfocus? I'm glad you asked, Ala. So I personally think as airfocus is a tool that only works for you. There's no best possible way to use it. The only thing I can recommend is that you actually, when you want to use it, you actually use it, because for what we see is that the power users, the people who use airfocus a lot, they really couldn't see another way of doing this. Whereas, I mean, it's probably the causality is probably the other way around. Like, people who are using it heavily, they get a lot of value out of it. Not people who are using it a lot of it get the value, right? But I still agree that, like, once you put a little bit of work into customizing airfocus to work the way you do, it can really be, or it is a game changer to you. If you don't want to do this, just use one of the templates to start, and that is already probably a benefit. Yes. You're welcome, Ala. I think that's it for today. That did take 43 minutes after all. If you are not an airfocus customer yet, don't forget to do a trial. For all our airfocus customers who are part of the webinar today, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a customer. Please keep giving us feedback as you do. Find me on LinkedIn if you want to talk about more stuff. Yes, thanks.